Hello, everyone. I'm here for one of my stories. This is Lindsay Dunn, and today we are going to be talking about everything upside down, Satanic Panic, anything you want to say about Stranger Things. Hawkins, Indiana, it's all happening right now. Stranger Things season 4 was one of the most anticipated TV shows happening this year, and it finally came out, or at least part of it came out today. Here to discuss all of that, I have two incredible speakers. I have Darryl, aka Seed / Seedalicious, who you guys may remember him from the Green Knight discussion that happened last year. I believe it was August of 2021. How time flies. How are you doing tonight, Darryl?
I am doing lovely. Thank you for having me back. After Green Night, I was like, oh no, I'll never be on Lindsay's show again. But no, you were gracious enough to invite me back. I am ready to talk all things Stranger Things. So thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, of course. No, I want to have you on more. I don't do this too often. We also have someone new to the channel tonight, Harrison Martin, who goes by the moniker The Movie Guru, I believe. Why don't you tell us about yourself, Harrison? I know you got accepted into NC Film Critics in May, so just last month. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself, your channel, how long you've been writing, anything you want to share.
Like you said, I'm Harrison Martin. My channel is Flix Frog. That actually stemmed from a gamer tag I had on PlayStation Network, which is Flip Frog. And when I started reviewing movies, I was like, so how can I turn this into like a movie review site? And Netflix was just getting big. And then I was like, Flix Frog. And that's what I'll do. But yeah, on my site, I review movies, television, streaming, or on TVs. Very few games. I have a daughter now, so I don't have time to play as many games. But I do like breakdown videos, spoiler stuff like that. And the website has a whole nother side to it. I'm also a children's author. We can get into that another day. But yeah, I recently was accepted into the North Carolina Film Critics Association. I've been trying to get in this association for years. It finally happened. But yeah, I'm also a member of the African American Film Critics Association, Black Film Critics Circle, and Online Film Critics Society. So yeah.
You got into the Online Film Critics Society. That's pretty dope, man. I'm applying next year.
I hope you get in. I was very excited to get that one. But yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to talk Stranger Things. I've loved this since episode 1, season 1. I can't wait to get back in the Upside Down. I can't wait for volume 2. Let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I love reading. I did look at your site a little bit, and I appreciated how you mentioned how you used to stand in line for the movie screenings. I'm very familiar with that before I was a film critic, and you would have to line up and stand in line for sometimes an hour and a half to get into that movie. But that's the
I've
kind
seen
of
Harrison's face many times standing in those lines.
Yes, I'm glad that I no longer have to do that.
Yeah,
I know, it's nice. Now you can show up and just go right in. And so yes, the Upside Down and Stranger Things and Hawkins, Indiana, and all that. We are ready to get into that. I wanted to start by just kind of for our viewers, let's refresh. Now, I did admittedly go back and rewatch all 3 seasons before this started, because it had been a long time since I remembered season 1, but and most of season 2, but I didn't really remember much about season 3 for some reason. Where do you guys remember season 3 leaving off?
Well, at the end of season 3, we had the Battle of Starcourt Mall.
Mm-hmm.
The Russians were trying to invade America underneath the mall via the Upside Down. It was a little confusing, but in that battle, we lost Hopper as he sacrificed himself. What else? 11 lost her powers. We lost Billy, who had worked really hard to just get back into our good graces. And oh man, just you got to miss him. You really love Dacre Montgomery in that role. But yeah, and after that, what was it? 11 and Jonathan, Will, his mom. They left to sunny California. Yeah, sunny California, and just left everybody else in Hawkins, where the evil takes place.
It we sort of have three, when it ends, we sort of have three teams in a way. We have Team California, the Byers and 11 are going off to sunny Cali. Then we have Team Hawkins, where we still have pretty much everybody else except for poor Hopper, who his fate was left, very unclear there at the end. We knew he finally landed that date with Joyce at Enzo's, that he'd been bidding for all time. Although they just fought like children. Most of season 3, Joyce and Hopper. There was just a lot of fighting and bickering the whole time.
Yeah, they think they started with the real beginning of their meet cute, with her giving him advice on how to handle the budding relationship between Elle and Mike, and that was kind of a mirror for the budding of their relationship as well. But yeah, after the whole Enzo stand up, because Joyce has gotta go talk to the science teacher. That's where the bickering and the arguing really comes into play, and it's kind of like that 80s rom-com, like Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, bickering and arguing back and forth, where it's like, come on, just get it done and over with already. Like, we want to see it, we know they want it. Let's cut to the chase here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the thing about their relationship, the fact that they had history. They both grew up in Hawkins. They went to Hawkins High. They knew each other back then, and they both grew up and married different people, and both ended up back alone again. And just seeing them come back together through that shared pain of she had the divorce, and then of course Hopper lost his wife, and then she lost, was it Bob last season or 2 seasons ago?
Season 2,
Yeah,
Bob Newby.
So yeah, and then they're back together, and of course she's helping him with 11. So yeah, I really like their relationship and how it grew from season 1 to season 3, and then bam, he's gone again. She might be bad luck now that I think about it.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, he did give her some advice, but she gave him some advice, but he didn't really take it. He kind of went his own path on that. He like wrote out the speech, but in the end he decided to kind of do things his own way, and that sort of backfired on him.
That definitely backfired on him, but that does set us up for that wonderful monologue that Hopper gets in his letter to Elle at the beginning of the season. That's kind of what closes the season out for the most part. Is a beautifully written speech there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before you started watching, so try to rewind before you started season 4. Where was your head in thinking? Did you have any predictions? Did you have any hopes? Did you have any things? What were you really hoping to see in this season, whether or not it panned out?
I know I was hoping to see, at the very least, I got what I wanted. I got Hopper reunited with Joyce, and it takes to the last episode to get there. But of all the things, I knew I just wanted to be along for the ride. But at the end of the ride, the only destination I needed was a Hopper Joyce reunion, and I was lucky to get a few seconds of that. Everything else was just icing on the cake for me.
Wow, you asked for so little.
Yeah, I did. It's like I said, it's the show that you just go for the ride. I had no prediction, no expectations, and I'm always happy to just kick back and go with the flow for this particular show. Other shows you get to theorize and whatnot. This one, I let it just take me where it wants to go.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Harrison? Did you have any season 4 hopes or expectations?
I did. For me, and I'm probably in the minority with this, but ever since season 2, I've been waiting for 11 to reunite with 8. I really enjoyed that episode where she went off and found another kid who had powers different than hers. Of course, 8 could create illusions. And then I was like, I cannot wait to see her come back and to see more kids, because I was always wondering what happened to the rest of those special kids. We found out what happened to the rest of the special kids. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get that this season. Even within those flashbacks, they took place after 8 had already left. So we get like that one image of her playing with 8 when she was really young, but we don't get to see her come back this season. It is split into 2 volumes. Maybe she will show back up, but I really want at least before this whole series ends to see her again, because I like that her powers are different. Like telekinesis is cool, but those illusions were pretty awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of negative reception to that particular episode, and it seems kind of like the Duffers have just kind of quietly swept that under the rug. Like out of that, we've heard no mention whatsoever again. So I'll be interested to see if they do bring 8 back. But it seems for now that they just kind of quietly abandoned that whole storyline.
yeah, they did, but they did mention like they had spoke to Netflix about some spin-offs that they didn't give too many details about. But I was like, oh, please let it be 8. Please let it be her, because she can't just be out here and not somehow come back. I need her back.
I think, yeah, I think I'm with you there. I really thought she might show up, and like you said, maybe she still will in part 2, but especially when they brought her back to, because 11 is really put through the ringer in this season in many ways, and she really needs some help, and the help that she needs might be more than her childhood friends can offer, or even the teen, or even Hopper in this case, because you got by the way, guys, we're gonna do spoilers, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. We've got Brenner, we've got and then the other side, I don't even remember those people's names. Were they were just evil forces, but there are people that want 11 to be, they want to use her or stop her from using her powers. And so I thought maybe, Callie or 8 might come in and, help her out and save the day. Because you got the feeling at the end of that season that, Callie maybe had some things that she had to think about after, because it's like 11 left. And I think Callie had mixed feelings about that. And maybe it gave her a chance to reevaluate how she was living her life. So yeah, I'm with you. I think the couple things that I thought I might see or hoping for, one of the things I'm always hoping for this show is togetherness. And it really bums me out a little bit that they keep, I know why they have to do it, but this show is always the most entertaining when that group is together. But they have to spend so much of it apart. And even in this season, there was so much of that. And Hopper just all by himself in Russia. I mean, Hopper's also put through the ringer. Then we got California over there. Like, we want to see these people together interacting. And so I just was like, moving to California, that's not a good idea. You need to stay in Hawkins, so you guys can be a family. Like, this is their chosen family. Some of them are related. The other thing, though, that's interesting is you have our bad guy, which we can talk about more later, but Vecna being like the main antagonist of this season. I really thought, for some reason, that Vecna was going to be Billy. And I had a good reason for that, being that when Billy is killed in Starcourt Mall, or I guess we assume he's dead for real and not just like a Hopper who's not going to be dead. The way he's kind of left is he's hanging by these tentacles, very much similar to Vecna. And so that imagery had me thinking, well, maybe he was trapped in the upside down and he turns into Vecna. And so I thought Billy was going to be more than just the dead guy from season 3. I thought he was going to be an ongoing character, but in a new form. So I don't know. I was completely wrong.
I was glad to see Billy go. Like, I love me a good villain, but for some reason that guy just really got under my skin, and I couldn't stand that dude.
Was it the hair?
You know what? It might have been the hair, just his overall dickish attitude. But yeah, when he got taken out, I was quite pleased, and I would have been, I think, a little bit upset had they brought him back. That would have robbed me of my joy.
Yeah, I think I was like, I liked Billy. I didn't want Billy to die, but he gave a good hero sacrifice, so I was fine with that and him being gone. But back to your point on Vecna's identity, I was like, is Vecna Barb? Is it Barb? Are they finally like bringing back Barb? Is she still alive? Like, was she transformed into a monster? So of course that is not who it is. But I was like, "What? Finally getting justice for Barb? That's cool." It's a weird way to do it, but yeah.
Oh, I need to find the universe. I gotta hop into the multiverse where Barb ends up being Vecna, and I just want to live there for the rest of my life because that's better than what we got. Honestly, I would be so down for that.
That would have been fun for sure, and it was nice. We got a little Barb in this season after all, but yeah, Billy, I don't know. He's nicer. I like him more now that he's dead because of just how Max feels. It's like, yeah, I don't, it's kind of hard to understand sometimes why she's so mourning, but she feels responsible, I guess, for his death on some level, even though you're right, Darryl, he was a complete asshole. But yeah.
The worst.
I think some of that comes from, and I don't know if she was able to speak to 11 about it, but when 11 was in Billy's mind, she saw his childhood and like how he was a sweet kid and how he loved his mom. And his dad was like this military jerk. And when she like passed away and he was just with his dad, that's when he started to change into this just jerkish guy. Mm-hmm. So, and then of course his dad married Max's mom and he feels like his mom is being replaced. So I think they tried to redeem him somewhat in that little aspect that you see. He didn't always start out as this jerk. He was made into one.
Right. You had that moment of empathy.
Yeah.
Which you have to understand your enemy to defeat them. So everything.
Okay, Sun Tzu.
Let's talk about these groups. Kind of start out with, go back to this idea of location. Let's start with a Team Russia because, okay, now I know you said it was your favorite plot line, Darryl. You really wanted Hopper and Joyce to have that reunion, and I was happy about that too. But I will say, for season 4 so far, I feel like what's going on in Russia is the least interesting part of the show. But I do want to talk about it. So obviously we know Hopper is not dead. he gets taken to Russia, and it was. For me, what was frustrating about that is, Hopper's, he's cool. He's like probably be outside of the teens, the older teens. He is my very, very favorite character. I have a huge crush on that man. And it was upsetting though that, because you want that moment of triumph. So he had that. And then he gets immediately recaptured and sent back, and he's beat up again. He's just a human punching bag the entire season. So we have, Joyce and Murray go in to rescue him, but it was, I don't know, I just found it very frustrating that Hopper spent most of season 4 in Russia in the prison. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about it?
It's what I wanted to see the most, but it is not the best plot line, which is weird because it gives me, I agree with you that it is the least of the 3 interesting plot lines. So it's weird that I get what I want wrapped in a small package of shit that is that plot line, basically. But he's the big tough guy, right? You can give roles like that to big tough guys, and it kind of shows his determination, his resilience, his willing to push through the pain to do what it needs to take to survive. And then in doing so, it gives us a little bit more development for our boy Murray. Yeah, he really comes to the forefront more this half season than he probably had all the other seasons. So that plot line gives him a little bit of time to develop and become a main character, which I would say he was supporting all throughout the other seasons. And it shows you just how willing Joyce is to go to the almost literal ends of the earth in order to get this man. So if anything is going to solidify their relationship, is this horrible traumatic event. And, plus, it introduces us to our gulag guy from Game of Thrones. So we get to see Russian Jock and Hagar in there doing his thing, and that's an actor I love seeing. But as far as ranking the plot lines, yeah, that's that's bottom of the list. And he does just kind of sit around a lot in the season. So I'm hoping for a more active Hopper, hopefully getting out of Russia, back over to California or Hawkins or wherever they end up. But I'm hoping the back half is something a little bit more active for our guy.
Mm-hmm. He does have a nice speech, but yeah, you're right. He's sitting around, but he does have in that, one of those last, he and the Russian guard, what's the guy's name? Yuri.
I think it's Yuri.
Yeah. Yuri, yeah.
No, Yuri was the smuggler dude, wasn't
he? Maybe that's true. I don't know.
We should look that up.
We should look that up. It was just Russian Jock and Hagar to me.
It threw me off that Leslie, just called him Russian guard. I forgot to look up what the name was. So, what are your thoughts about the Russia plotline, Harrison?
I like that Hopper is in Russia. Actually, I remember when they released that first trailer where they just show the people working in the snow on the railroad, and then you get to Hopper, he takes off his hat, and you're like, "Oh, our boy made it." I've just always been confused on how did he actually get to Russia? Like when they made the portal thing explode, and he was down there. Like, did he go into the Upside Down and then he got to Russia? Or that part just always confused me.
They showed the guards get in there and get to him right after that. I think the question is how he survived the explosion, because however he survived, then the Russians came in and got him after that.
Well, plot armor is how he survived. but yeah, I like that he's in Russia. I like the camaraderie he has with the prison guard, because when that first started, I wasn't exactly too sure about like how that was going to work. Was he going to betray Hopper, or was he like really trying to help this guy out because he doesn't care about Russia? He wants to get out just as much. So yeah, that's become one of my favorite storylines. I do agree. Like, they don't show it that much. He's kind of on the back burner for the first volume. Just sporadically, you check in on Hopper, see how he's doing, and we're focused mostly on sunny California and Hawkins. But yeah, I didn't mind it too much.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that it was, it was frustrating because like I said, I like that character, and I appreciate when someone overcomes adversity. And so for him to do that and then escape and have to like hurt his foot, my feet are sensitive, so that was painful. Yeah. And to have him get out, run, and be triumphant, and then get just immediately recaptured and brought back, and just get beat up. I'm like, how is he still standing up?
How does he have all his teeth? It sucks to see a man for 3 seasons. Hopper's been a man of action. Things need to happen. He goes and gets it done. And it sucks seeing a man of action just sit in one place for, a half a season. So it's stilted development for him. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that security guard's name is Enzo. So
Enzo.
Well, that's not his real name. That's his code name. Right?
It's good enough.
Enzo.
Good enough.
Dimitri.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's move into California, where we have the Byers clan. We've got 11, and I don't know. This was another tough one. You have you get this sense. You wonder if anything's happened. I mean, 11's writing a letter, so it looks like time has passed, but you almost feel like nothing. The characters haven't developed very much. Even though they look older, they look older, but you're like, did any changes happen? Just people grew their hair, have some weird haircuts, but
yeah, I think we got a little bit of change. I think out of the sunny California group, the most of the change comes with 11's struggle to fit in. Mm-hmm. You get that sense that she's not succeeding in the least at all whatsoever. And she's being picked on and made fun of. And this is a completely different role for her. She's fish out of water, whereas Will's been picked on his whole life. This ain't nothing new to him. But for for Elle, it's a circumstance she hasn't had to navigate before, and she's not doing well at navigating it. As far as the other ones, I have no idea what Jonathan's doing. I think the problem is Jonathan doesn't know what Jonathan's doing with his life. And that rockiness with Nancy is going to be interesting to see how that plays out as you talked about separation, that all the separation is kind of what's letting Steve get back into those Nancy good graces. Luckily for all of us Steve Harrington fans out there. So yeah, it feels like they don't know what to do with Jonathan too much, because his character is just kind of in the background a lot in this season. He's kind of going with the flow and hanging out with his buddy and getting high and not getting accepted and not wanting to go to college. I'm not sure which that was, but there's progression for some, less progression for others.
Yeah, I think for me, there is progression with Jonathan, especially because he's a pothead now, and he's hanging out with my new favorite character, Argyle. Argyle, I love Argyle. He's like a riff on Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he's just kind of spaced out the entire time. And he's, like you said, he's just going along for the ride. He's like, what's going on here? Oh, okay, just drive, just go. And he's like, but yeah, and I agree with you. Is that I think part of Jonathan's character is he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life moving forward. He's away from Nancy, and he knows, like, for one, he doesn't know if he's going to go to the same college as her, if he's going to even have the same career. So that is like an internal struggle. Like, do I keep this going? Is this the only thing that's actually keeping us together? Is our the potential that we're going to end up like in the same place, or can our relationship stay strong even though we might be separated even longer? So I think that is there is build up with him. And of course, like you said about 11, her not fitting in, she's powerless at this moment, so she can't really defend herself physically if she wanted to. And she's apart from Mike. So I think those two. The person for me who I don't think is getting a lot of build up, at least not yet, is Will. Will, to me, seems the same pretty much every season. He's just kind of like this quiet guy, and like he's sitting off to the side, and he kind of has something to say but doesn't really say it. And I think they're slowly building him up at least by the end of the season, but I would like to see more of his character growth.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Or like more of his character growth besides being the person that they have to rescue, because Will is always the one that needs help, so it's almost like when that's not happening, I mean, we haven't even seen, he has this scroll he's carrying around. What's on the scroll? We don't know what he's drawn, but it's obviously somehow connected with his relationship with Mike somehow, because there's times he thinks about putting it away or bringing it with him. What's he going to do with that? So it seems like it's a pretty important piece of art. But we know, so maybe he's been drawing. He's a great artist, but yeah, it's like when you have a show like this and you keep growing the characters, it seems like they have to focus on some and make them more interesting, and then some people get left behind. And I don't know, for me, Will's identity is the kid who needs to be rescued. So, and maybe that's difficult for him too, because now he's essentially 11's brother, and that's, he's sort of taking care of her on Mike's behalf almost, which might be a little awkward for him.
Yeah, I think when it comes to television, they got to look at who's being responded positively to, and they try to develop that strength more. Obviously, a lot of focus with Steve because he is one of the most popular characters. Everybody loves Dustin. So, he gets a lot of good screen time, and then they just put those two together, and that was amazing chemistry. And I think because Will was so shorted in season 1, just being the kid that needed to be rescued, kind of shorted in season 2 as the kid who needed to get the mind flayer out of him. He didn't get that opportunity, and because he doesn't get that love or that shine, they haven't focused as much because he's not as hot a commodity as the other ones are. And yeah, he's just been in the background this whole first half of season and most of season 3, just kind of an ornamentation. in the background. It seems like it's more like the boys and Will than it is like the boys as a collective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. They haven't really given, and when you look online, the only thing everybody seems to be talking about as far as Will is what's his sexuality. I mean, I feel bad for him. It's like his character, they need to do something else with him that gives him more than one dimension, so I think that would be a good thing for the Duffer Brothers to do if they decide they want to, grow his character or make him something more than just a token item. Yeah, so we spend most of the time, the first part of California is spent with like 11 and her having trouble at school and the bullying she encounters and the terrible events in the skating rink.
Terrible. I called it great.
That's must see TV right there.
Must see TV.
I'm not condoning violence, but I loved that scene so much, and that is why you should not bully kids, because they could break and they could snap and hurt you or other people. So
yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm not talking about the smashing the skate in Angela's face, but I mean, anytime for me, that was a tough scene to watch because I get triggered by bullying. So seeing 11 go through that, and in this suffocating way where you have all these kids converging upon her and she's kind of in the middle, it was a difficult thing to sit through. On the one hand, we're sitting through Hopper getting like used as the punching bag, and then we have 11 getting bullied. It's not fun to watch. That's kind of where I was with that.
11 was the emotional punching bag, I think, of that. Between her getting bullied and all the what we saw that went down when she was younger at the institute there, she was the emotional punching bag of the season, which some could say that Will has kind of been the punching bag of other seasons because he's always the butt of the rescues and whatnot. But yeah, it's never pleasant to see. And like I said, that kind of, she wasn't prepared for that. She wasn't ready for it in any kind of way. So yeah, it's awkward. It's uncomfortable. Nothing Will can do about it. So it's just on an island alone together. There's not a whole lot can be done there. Tough situation. But yeah, you poke somebody too long, man, and all of a sudden it's a skate to the face.
To the face.
Skate to the face. And the milkshake that that's a callback to Carrie. It was always fun to see that a little bit of pop culture is thrown in there as well. The Duffers know their 80s well.
Oh yeah,
that might have been 70s.
So there was that whole segment, but then a lot of then you have the thing where the Byers, for some reason, it's like, all right, parents are away, Joyce is in Russia, so now the kids are taking care of themselves as usual, and they need to go and get some help for 11, and so they end up in this in Utah. So that, I don't know, that was a lot of fun, that group going to Utah and hanging out with the Susie's family. So, and that gave Argyle, he got dumbstruck there at the house, didn't he, with Eden.
Argyle fell in love for a quick second.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah, just amazingly, it's instant thunderstruck.
Mm-hmm. I love how they go and they get to see what this Mormon family is like, and I've only known one Mormon family, but it did kind of ring true, at least the fact that there were a lot of kids and they were all really good at entertaining themselves because they're very creative. Maybe there's not as much maybe life outside the house, and so they were very good at coming up. They had many talents there at Susie's family, wouldn't you say? I mean,
yeah, Susie hacking computers. You got a kid that's trying to film his own short, man. It was just a wild, chaotic place, and the energy of that. Of anytime they cut back to that, it was something else, and I loved. I think a lot of people thought that Susie was just going to be that bit player that shows up and kind of helps out at the end of season 3. So it was refreshingly cheerful to see her actually get some kind of substance in this scene or in this series.
Yeah, I personally, I think they're building Susie up for like a more substantial role in season 5. If her part from this season is well liked enough, they're probably going to find a way to bring her back to be with like the rest of the gang for most of the episodes.
Would the parents allow that though? I mean, he is and Dusty Bun is agnostic, so I wonder how that's all going to work out.
Time skip. Maybe she's old enough to drive. So
there you go. There you go.
That would be fun. But yeah, that was a nice detour for that group, and you know, I'm sure it seems like they're building it up probably for that group to go be able to find 11 and try to help her at least to be able to get away from Brenner, who's I don't know, don't like that man.
Yeah, they don't like that. Don't like that. It's one of those characters. Brenner is like, he'll do a lot of shady stuff in the quote unquote name of good. Like his whole motivation this season was to help Elle get her powers back because they know that something's coming and they need to prep her. But in doing that, he just kind of had to be that necessary asshole in order to kickstart to save all of humanity. And I kind of love characters that have to be grimy for the cause of overall good. And that hair is just glorious.
I really like that he's back. And you know who actually gave us the first tip that he was actually still alive? Yes, that would be 8. And they need to bring her back because we need her.
Keep going, Harrison. Keep like, you know, asking for what you want.
Wave that banner.
Save 8. I mean, bring her in for the Avengers style finale where she's been there the whole time. She just had up an illusion or something.
But do you think Brenner uses the Farrah Fawcett spray is what I want to know, because he does have some nice hair.
Something's holding.
Maybe he has powers too. Maybe that's what's holding him back.
That would be fun if they, you know, showed he had a can in his office or something.
Some LA looks there.
Okay, so let's go into Hawkins now, which is probably, you know, where my heart really belongs in this season with just all that happens there. So I had asked if there was a question. There was a question, which was from Daryl's dear Leslie asking, who's the new favorite character? Is it the Russian guard or I'm drawing a blank now, Argyle or Eddie? And why is it Eddie? Was, I believe, the way she worded the question, which was really, really cute. So I think a lot of people are very fond of Dear Eddie and how he comes out. So what do you guys want to say about Eddie? I could go on, but I don't want to hog the floor.
Yeah, Harrison, go for it, man.
I was very happy Eddie didn't die after only a couple episodes. When he was in that room with Chrissy, I'm like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. He made it out. And then the basketball team's going after him. I'm like, please don't let him catch him. Please don't let him catch him. Please don't. I really like this guy. He is like if our titular gang with Dustin and Mike and Lucas, if like he's like an older version of them. He loves D&D. He doesn't really fit in with the popular kids, but he likes that. He owns that, and he's really a nice guy at heart. Like in that scene where he's in the woods talking to Chris, talking about, we used to be in class together, and he makes her smile. He does like really sweet things just to help her with the mental struggles she's struggling with. So I really enjoy that aspect of his character. I like that there's a hidden bravery in him. Like he doesn't really want to help, but he knows is what he should do. And especially in that scene in the lake, and when he's talking to Steve, he's like, "Look, I didn't want to help you, but they did, so here I am." But yeah, he's just a really lovable guy. It's like between him and Argyle for me. They're pretty much a tie. That you love them both. You want them both to survive this season. So
Yeah, Eddie is 100% the clear for me favorite character favorite new character coming out of this, and how they wrote him was brilliant. I think the first time you see him, he's just a loud jackass in the high school cafeteria, and you're like, ugh, this guy. I don't want to have to deal with this. I just got done with Billy. I don't want to deal with another one of these guys, you know. And then, shortly after that, I think it's the same episode, and you get that interaction in the woods, and that kind of put me on my guard because I was like, one of these things is not like the other, and I don't know which is the front. Was the cafeteria the front, or is his being nice the front? So, tune in next time to find out what Eddie is really like. And then the more you see him, you were okay. So him putting on the airs in the cafeteria, like I'm the macho badass. I'm the king of the nerds of this high school. It was really just talk and show and hot air. And then deep down, he says, I'm no hero. He's just a scared dude like everyone else, but he finds that steel when needed. And right before that lake scene, when they're at the makeout rock or whatever in the woods, when Dustin asks him, he's like, well, Eddie the Banished or whatever he calls him. And he says, he uses that Lord of the Ring reference, the Shire is burning. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, that's when I knew. I was like, this is my guy right here. This is my guy. He's charming. He's charming in a way that Steve isn't charming. And even Hopper has his own kind of rough, roguish charm, but Eddie's is a whole different kind of deal.
Yeah, he's very self-aware. And Steve eventually has become self-aware, but a lot of it is because of Nancy and how she dressed him down. And so he kind of learned his lesson a little bit. But Eddie knows, I call Eddie the truth teller. He can't lie. I mean, he is like almost a prophet, the way that some of the things the lines he spews off. I love when he's in the woods with Steve and he's like, look, Dustin can't stop talking about you and I'm jealous. And he tells him like, that was pure love and these cynical eyes. I don't know. It was a great line. And
that's a great line. Yeah.
Yeah. He just kind of is going to tell the truth and he sees things the way they are. Kind of how those people on the outside sometimes do that. They can see things that other people miss because they're observers and they see things differently. But it was good that you mentioned, Harrison, one of the things you mentioned was that between Chrissy and Eddie, it's like one of these guys might have gotten killed and ended up being Chrissy instead of Eddie, where, you might think, oh, it's him because he's the demonic guy or something. And I love how Stranger Things, they've always kind of played with these tropes. When you had, in the first season, you had Barb, who was the one who didn't sleep with anybody, and Nancy's the one that had sex, and Barb's the one that got killed. So Duffer Brothers are like, we're doing things completely different in this show. And that was a neat twist. So I just love how they can continue to surprise you what they're going to put your way. And Eddie was just a total surprise from start to finish, I think.
It also, I like the fact that they called their little group the Hellfire Club, as they continue to find these little ways to sneak X-Men references.
X-Men, I love it.
Yeah. Every season, there's one or two that you can sneak in there, and I love that they've continued with that.
Yeah, I also like the Duffer Brothers. I feel like they were catching on to what we were catching on to as an audience. You got in season 1, Barb died. In season 2, it was Bob, and in season 3 it was Billy. Nobody's name starts with a B this season, so it was like anybody can go. We have no clue who's not going to make it out alive.
Either everyone's safe or someone we don't see coming.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it's like although they are the creators and directors, I feel like they're in tune with what the audience is going through. So they're like, well, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's see how they're going to gel with this, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you had mentioned you wanted to talk. We have Vecna, and Harrison, you mentioned wanting to kind of talk about a particular theory or something. Do you want to do that now?
We can. We can jump into that. So we're going into Vecna's identity, who he is.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Vecna, it turns out, is one. He is the first kid that Dr. Brenner experimented on, and in a big fake out, he's the son of what's Freddy Krueger's name? I'm blanking.
Vic Creel.
Yes, Victor Creel, the actor.
Robert Englund.
Robert Englund. But yes, he's Victor Creel's son, and he's the one that was causing everything to go bad at the house, giving them the visions, killing all the animals. And I really like that origin story we get for him, and how when Nancy was talking to Victor at the insane asylum, he was talking about how he lost his wife and his daughter. Luckily, his son passed out, and he was able to get him to safety. But he was like this sweet kid. And so the theory is, and I think it's actually been going around a lot now, is that Will has powers, because there is some type of symmetry with what was going on with Will from season 1 up until now, and what was going on with 1. How he's this sweet kid, he's quiet, he's not really the same as everybody else, he keeps to himself. And I really like that more than the theories about Will's sexuality, that if it turns out the reason Will is different is because he has these innate abilities and he just hasn't really been able to express them yet. Because you have, why was he chosen by the Demogorgon in season 1 to be taken to the Upside Down? Why did the Mind Flayer attach to him? And we don't really know what Vecna's connection to the Mind Flayer is, if they're like the same person or not. But it could be that Vecna was always operating behind the scenes from season 1, and he noticed this kid is just like me, so that's why he sent the things after Will. So that's just a theory, maybe totally wrong, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
So so if these powers manifest, do you think is he drawn to the bad guy side, or is he going to fight for the side of good with L?
Well, I don't know. The Duffer Brothers, they could do a total 180. Like you said, he's always been in the background. He feels neglected. And you're used to the word drawn. Will has always been an excellent artist. He's drawn like a lot of different things. Maybe his powers have something to do with that. But one of the things the Duffer Brothers spoke about online recently, so Will's birthday was in like episode 2 or 3 this season, because they mentioned in season 1. They forgot about that. So now moving forward, they're like, oh, so do we just move forward? Everybody forgot Will's birthday. That makes that really sad. Or do we retcon his birthday? So I'm on the camp that, yeah, just move forward. Everybody's concerned about 11. We've forgotten about Will's birthday. His best friend is there. I like,
That's
maybe
painful.
He's like, chaotic neutral. Maybe like at the end of this season, he's drawn to the dark side. He's redeemed in season 5. Who knows? But I think it'll be like, how do we win back Will? That would be a good way to take the season.
Okay, yeah, I can get down with that.
I don't know. I like the theory of Will having his powers, but I guess one thing I was going to ask you guys is that about related to Vecna is Vecna endgame? Because we had the Demogorgon, we had the Mind Flayer, we had
Demodogs.
And so each level you're kind of finding who's really pulling the ropes. So do you think that Vecna is like the ultimate baddie, or is there a level beyond Vecna?
I don't think so, because name me one time, excuse me, with the exception of him keeping the Demodog as a pet, name me one time Dustin's been wrong. It almost never happens. And he theorized, I think in like episode 6 or 7 of season 4, that he thinks that Vecna is like the 5-star general for the bad guy. So we've been slowly leveling up each one of these seasons up a level, and season 5 is going to give us the reveal of our Emperor Palpatine, our biggest baddest. So we've been dealing with, like your low key, regular
and it could
officer,
be
we moved up to Darth Vader.
What if it's
It
Will?
could be future Will, like a Days of Future
Man,
Past
listen,
situation.
give me a Days of Future Past situation, and I'm all for that. I'm all for it. Give me future Will as the bad guy. That's my new theory. Calling it.
I like it.
So back to, but we got to Vecna and we kind of talked about him. He is terrifying. But with the Hawkins thing, I know I'm kind of skipping around, but I wanted to make sure we talked about Vecna before we kind of talk more about Hawkins and the fact that we love Eddie. So we've gotten past that because we have all of our regular characters here at Hawkins. We've got Lucas, Dustin, Priya, Nancy, Steve, Max. We have Robin. So we have all these characters. Who are the standout performances for you, the characters you really like, what they did with that person?
Robin, man, I will always go to bat for Robin. She's one of my favorite characters on the show. Maya Hawke is doing amazing things on this show with Robin. And yeah, I think that's my biggest crush is Steve Harrington, but Robin is just Robin and Max. I think Max was the standout character of, love the new people, whatever, but Max was the solid hold down of this entire season, I think, or this entire half the season. So that's, if I had to pick one that I would ride out with, I think everything that Sadie Sink was doing was the MVP gold medal so far for the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Steve Harrington. His character arc from 1 to 4 has just been phenomenal. I just find him like as a true hero. Like he went from being the jerk who learned his lesson. Now he's a nice guy. He's the babysitter, the big brother. He's all these things. And for me, what was it? Episode 6, that ending with him in the upside down, that should have been the volume 1 finale right there. It should have just cut off right there, and then we would have had to wait till July to find out what happened with him. But yeah, I think he's just become a really selfless guy, and he's had the most character growth for me, like of this whole series. So like, he's the GOAT this season so far.
Can't argue with that, man. Can't argue with that at all.
Yeah.
What about you, Lindsay? Who's your standout?
I mean, the quartet of Nancy, Robin, Steve, and Eddie together is for me the highlight of this series. I love that Nancy and Robin are becoming friends. I love the interaction that they have, the 4 of them together having, like, I mean, there was lots of panting, sweaty men, but it just still was, it was nice having, you've got Eddie and Robin, and just the fact that they're all kind of like, it's that Breakfast Club thing, right? They're all from different parts of the school. They're coming together, finding common purpose and working together to accomplish this goal. And the scene where the bike riding is happening in the real world and the upside down, I had to rewind that part like over and over again because I love watching that beautiful cinematography of the kids are on their way, but also the teens are on their way, and we're gonna be there at the same time. And and they brought time travel in all of a sudden to the upside down. That was just that whole last episode. And because I don't know, I'm a sucker for that. I've always loved plot lines like The Faculty, that movie where it's like you had the jock and the druggie, all the people, and they work together. And so just that the 4 of them together is one unit that has 4 heads, and I can't lose any of them, frankly.
Yeah, I kind of see, I think you were talking about Eddie as being like a truth sayer. I think Robin is kind of the same way. She also seems incredibly self-aware of who she is and what she's about. And, she has that extra added element of having to harbor this horrible secret that she can't tell anybody, that Steve is also doing his part to keep that secret as well, while trying to, give the worst Steve advice that he possibly can. But yeah, I like to see that they kind of introduced one half of that coin with Maya last season with Robin, and then they introduced the other half of that coin with Eddie in this season, because I do think that they're kind of peas of a pod in their awareness and the outside coming into all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. I think I like those four. It's like an adult, not adult, but like a grown-up version of Lucas and them. I like them working together, and how Robin's coming in like, yeah, I joined last year. It was like a fleshy monster with me before they had a smoke monster, and now this is what you're getting. So yeah, I really like how they're coming together and bringing them in. And of course, Nancy's like, yeah, I got guns. We should go to my house. I got guns. I can protect us. And that's a big development for her from where she was in the first season, just hanging on. Now I'm forgetting his name, my favorite character. But
Steve? Or?
Yes, hanging on Steve's arm and falling with Steve. And yeah, now she's like her own woman. So I really like that.
Yeah, she's an example of a character with the gift of gab. So she says a lot, and I love how she used that to her advantage to get in to see Victor Creel. You know, it was because Nancy's like, it's the whole thing, like, just let me do the talking, all right? And you, but everybody's got a strength, and you know they can use it. And for Robin, it's the way she runs her mouth gets her sometimes into trouble and out of trouble simultaneously, which is impressive. One of the questions I have is the thing that's kind of left is we have this deal with the song, you know, and the magic song that helps Max to escape Vecna. So we've got, at the end of part 1, we've got Nancy in the Upside Down. So people are all speculating about what her song is going to be. So I'm wondering if you guys have any theories about that.
Either the song thing worked with Max. I don't know if it's going to work with Nancy. I think it might be something else. I don't know if the Duffers want to go back to that bag to pull a song out to get Nancy back. I think it's going to need to be something else. It's just what that something else is. I'm not talented enough to figure out.
Well, I actually think it will be a song. And as an eagle-eyed fan, in the Stranger Things 4 trailer, we saw Eddie Munson on the top of his trailer in the Upside Down riffing on his guitar. So I think he's going to be our big hero. This is his big moment because he's already gone back to the real world. He's going to jump back down there, get his guitar, and he's going to free Nancy with rock and roll. I don't know what the song will be, but it's got to be something that was big in the 80s. So I had the Tiger. Is that it?
I am the Tiger.
It is now.
I want to tell you guys my theory about the song thing, because I'm actually building up off of what Harrison said. I also noticed that there's guitar playing in the trailer. So I'm thinking Eddie is going to be playing the song, but I think Steve is going to be singing the song. And I think the song is Separate Ways, because that is the song in the trailer. And it's on the soundtrack, but have we heard it at all in part 1? No, we have not. So
is there footage in the trailers that's not in the season? Did I just miss that?
What do you mean?
Like you guys are talking about Eddie.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. It will happen in volume 2.
There's multiple trailers. Yeah, in the first trailer for season 4, you saw a character playing guitar, and we hadn't met Eddie yet, so nobody knew who it was. Some people thought it might be Steve, but now we know it's Eddie. But that scene hasn't happened yet, and so maybe Steve won't be singing, but I do think the song is going to be Separate Ways. And I was thinking, this is a perfect song for Steve and Nancy.
He has to be singing now. I'm going with it. It has to be Eddie playing and Steve singing. That is the best.
Let me just text the Duffers real quick and see if I can get them to hop on that.
You heard it here first, folks. You know, if it ends up happening, then I'm going to make a lot of money off of this. No, I don't know.
That's how it works. That's definitely how it works.
But I don't know. I think that's possible. I do definitely think with Eddie thing, but I don't know. People are coming up with these theories, guys, that are upsetting that Steve is going to die. What do you think about that?
I think it happens.
Why? Why?
You need a gut punch death, and I can't think of. I feel like, for the most part, the kids are safe. If any of the kids aren't safe, it's 11. But I feel like you still need a gut punch shot. And Steve is kind of my guy by process of elimination. Like, we'll get the Joyce Hopper combination, so they can kind of live happily ever after. Who knows what happens with Jonathan? But yeah, I think by process of elimination, Steve is kind of the one that's left to sacrifice for Nancy, maybe. That's kind of where my head is at with that.
I don't know. I can't have Steve die. I feel like nobody dies this season. That's important. Of course, we had all those teenagers from Hawkins die, but I don't think any of the main group will die. I think if Steve was going to die, it would have been at the end of episode 6, going into episode 7. But yeah, I think everybody makes it out alive, except for maybe Dimitri. We don't know about him. All we know is he has a son who, doesn't think too highly of him. He just wants to get money to get him out of Russia. So maybe he goes and they still get the money and get his family out. They're there. He can go, but nobody else. They're all safe.
Yeah, Dimitri might be one of the most expendable people we've got right now.
People get really nitty gritty into the theories, and people are like, during the bike riding scene, Nancy and Steve both look at Victor Creel house. They turn their heads, so that means, and Nancy almost died, so that means Steve is, it's just, it's like they're finding meaning in the minutia. But I really don't want Steve to die. But it's, think about it. He wasn't even supposed to survive season 1, but everybody loved him so much they had to keep him going.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people weren't supposed to make it out of season 1. 11 wasn't supposed to make it out of season 1, and here she is. So yeah.
The only one I know about is Steve, that they were gonna make him like the jock, and people liked him so much they decided to evolve his character and make him into a multi-dimensional nanny.
I think it was that all the characters turn out to be very well. Like, I think their original plan was probably for like some kind of anthology, but then they're like, oh, people love this a lot. Let's bring everybody back. Let's do this. We Joyce, Hopper, 11, and they just kept going. And
the heroes treatment.
Yeah.
You mentioned some movie references. Darryl, you've already mentioned Carrie. Of course, there's Nightmare on Elm Street with just the long claws. And did you guys spot any other movie references? I didn't want to get too much in the weeds, but I did. The only other one that was super obvious to me was when the girls go see Victor Creel. It's like Silence of the Lambs, because he goes down the thing and stay away from the bars. All that. Of course, it's very different.
Good call. Great call. Yeah. I don't think I would have picked up on that one.
Darryl, I did want to ask you about one of the memes you posted was about Lucas and how he's the one that makes sense. Did you really mean that? And can you talk more about that?
Yeah, man. Lucas, I think, as far as the group of kids, is the most common sense of the kids. Like Dustin is the smart one. He's your brains. He's going to get things figured out. But Lucas is more like, Dustin's your book smarts. I think Lucas is your street smarts. With the information, what they had at the time, I think Lucas's suggestions are generally some of the smarter ones. Like, we shouldn't be doing this because we're kids. Let's get to safety. If you look at it from that perspective, he's generally all about trying to protect the well-being of the lives of the crew. Like, no, we shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be doing this. Whereas Dustin's like, there's an adventure here. There's mystery to be solved. And Mike is just very 11 focused, and everyone forgets Will's there. But yeah, I've always found that Lucas is the most common sense one, with making decisions with whatever information they have at the time. Not always correct, But if they whatever one little piece of the puzzle that they have, what advice he's giving out, I think is generally sensible for whatever year old you're talking about.
One thing I do appreciate about Lucas that I missed going through is when in season 1, or maybe it might have been season 2, but he has the bandana that goes around his head and the ties, and I'm like, he's like, he liked Karate Kid. He like put the thing around his head, the tie.
Yeah, the bandana type deal he had going on there.
Yeah, he does. He's the one that grabs the fireworks for the Starcourt Mall. So he always he's equipped. He comes into situations prepared, I guess we could say. Whereas
he's got
Dustin,
the wrist rocket, man. The wrist rocket's helped him out a couple times.
Dustin needs to be reminded to bring the batteries sometimes, but Lucas is always equipped.
Right.
Did you guys have any other things you wanted to discuss before we end?
Yeah, Harrison, of the kids, which one do you identify or rock or connect with the most?
I would have to agree. It has to be Lucas. Growing up, I played a lot of sports, but I also liked, I guess you would say, nerdy stuff, anime, video games, stuff like that. So yeah, I would identify with him because you have your certain friends who you're like, yeah, I want to hang out with you, but I also want to play sports and sometimes hang out with the cool kids. I want my cake and I want eat it too. I need both. So I would say I identify with him probably the most out of all the young kids.
That is the of the kids. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know if I personally identify with any of them. One thing I appreciate about Mike is he's really loyal. Mike has the loyalty factor, or he has, again, he's sort of failing on that. He's growing up as a teen. He's like, I'm interested in the girls. And it is really tough. I do like how they portray, maybe I don't think it's perfect in how they do it, but I do enjoy how they kind of show how it can be difficult as you're growing up to, you get sort of torn in different directions. Like you mentioned the sports, and that he wants to do that, but he also still likes his friends on Lucas's part. And then with Mike, he has a girlfriend, but he's also trying, he doesn't want to be a bad friend to Will, but you start changing and there's that sort of growing pains, and inevitably certain people feel left behind and other people can feel like, well, aren't I allowed to have other friends besides you? Or do I have to only be your friend? And that's a very real conflict that kids have to wrestle with as they get older. So I think it's admirable how they show these conflict at the same time as they're doing this compelling, fantasy / horror storyline. They're also painting realistic portraits of kids and the things they go through. So that's probably the magic of Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we end it, wanted to give you both a chance to let people know where they can find you and anything exciting you have coming up that you would like to promote. So Darryl, let's start with you.
Go for it, Eric.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. Paprika, you can find everything on Paprika. Poprika, like paprika with an O instead of an A. PaprikaReviews.com is where you can find all the movie reviews. If you are on the Facebooks, man, Paprika does have a Facebook group, a quite robust and lively Facebook. So there's all sorts of discussion on movies, on comic books, video games, anime. We talk about it all in Paprika. So if you want to just hop in, it is a all inclusive and friendly atmosphere. Everyone is welcome in Paprika.
So for me, if you want to find me on the Twitters or the Instagrams, at MovieGuru23. If you want to follow the website, it'll be at FlixFrog. And the website, of course, is flipfrogllc.com/FlixFrog. We got movie reviews. We got TV reviews. We got top 5s, top 10s, movie dates that I do with my wife. Those are pretty fun. If we didn't have a daughter, we'd do a lot more of those. But so yeah, just head over there. And of course, yes, we're on Facebook as well at FlixFrogger. So.
Okay, everybody who's watching this, thank you for tuning in. And if you have any theories or things that you think we got incorrect, please put those in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and let you know that somebody's watching this besides my mom. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time on one of my stories. Goodbye.